things we did when we were young in the evening was go to the church, because in the winter, so we went to the Miraculous Medal, we went to St. Anthony,
We went to the mission.
to the Fidelity and St. Jude and Mission. So church was a big thing in our life. I'm not saying we were that religious, but there was really nowhere else to go, let's be honest.
7 chapels on a Thursday, Holy Thursday, 7 churches. To visit 7 churches.
We called for some of the altar boys.
Oh, we did, yeah. Especially the choir boys in John's Lane.
No, the ones in Mead Street we like.
Mr. Johnston. We all danced up the square where Joni lived. This man taught ballroom in old time, and he'd bring out the record player, and we all learned to do old time dancing. It was lovely. Just imagine.
We used to have a class in John's Lane.
That's right. But it was great up the square. Imagine all these kids dancing and doing ballroom and doing it properly, didn't
They're far happier teenagers than the kids today. They can't go out.
No.
You can't go out without looking over your shoulders. We had a far better
We had.
childhood.
We used to go to dances, didn't we, on our bikes?
That's right.
With our rollers in. Picked rollers in when we got to the dance hall.
Well, that's what reminded me. I was about 13. Remember, we used to all go on our bikes for a spin. So Bernie, with my sister Bernie, Lord of Mercy, and I was working, and she had this lovely check Elsie blouse out, Cassidy's. So I borrowed the blouse. So we went for the spin, and we got a puncture. And all I kept worrying, oh, Bernie will be home from work, she'll kill me, because, you know, oh, what'll I do, Bernie will be home. So when I gets home, I'm terrified going in with the blouse on. And when I gets in, there's a big commotion in the house. My Aunt Mary and my Aunt Moggy, Bernie had eloped. And all I could think of, I owned the blouse. But when you think about it, the house was all it's sorrows and crying and this, that, and the other. Now she was gone to England, like.
Oh, with your blouse.
No, I owned the blouse then.
I remember my mother asking us never ever to go to the Four Province.
Oh, my mother too.
Oh, we
Or the
did.
Olympic.
Yeah, my mother too. Can't say why.
Because you'd wake up somewhere further. They put drugs in their hanky and you'd wake up in Africa. We never stood. To this day, I've never stood in the Olympic. But she taught the fellas doing Cayley. We were in the matches. We used to be in the Pipers and the Clailers. And she thought they were girls. Because she never minded us staying there doing our Cayley dancing. With the result, I never went for modern dance.
I did it. I was on because we always went to the mansion.
Yeah, no, I did go to Mansion House and the Tiernan Og and that. I love the Tiernan Og.
That was the old dancing.
Yeah.
Kelly and Og is not
Cayley and all. We're talking about
Cayley.
We used to do the Cayley in Akafana, and then at the interval, you'd be allowed jive for 15 minutes. You know, and in those days, Father Michael Cleary used to do the singing. The reason why they didn't like it jiving was because we used to wear the dresses with big skirts on them. And when we twirl around, the dress would go too high.
Show a little bit of leg.
So they didn't like that. Was immoral, yeah.
If you were waltzing even, and it'd be I used to go down to Blessington and that time with a friend of mine, and you'd go into the dance on the Sunday night down there, and the priest would come along and say, now,
Separate. Close.
You're dancing too close.
Close.
Well, I used to go to one at the disco before discos ever came into fashion. It was a Legion of Mary dance called the Brew in Gardner Street, and at the interval they'd say the Rosary. And the boys would all run out the yard and have a smoke. I think they're still saying that
She
well.
was told to say her computer's name in John's Lane.
Yeah.
I won't say it.
No.
And we were all down to know because our fellas now was getting a bit over the top, kissing you good night. Just God, no, he was, you know. And she went to the priest to ask him, was it okay? Like we were going steady and we were this, that, and the other. And I thought she'd never come into work Monday. When she came in, I said, well, when did you go? She was told that this priest told you the facts of life. Facts of life, like we knew nothing. But anyway, And I went into work one we were opening our lunch back in Dublin. And I said to her, did you go? And she said, yeah. And did he tell you the facts tonight? She said, yeah. Tell us, no, and I'm not allowed. He made me promise you that if I had a friend that wanted to know, she was to go up herself. And remember I said to you, I just asked you one question, yes or no. Is babies above the belt or below the belt? I mean, we were after meeting our husbands. We were 17.
Yeah, we were going with our husbands at that time.
And then, like if you went to a dance and you asked up to dance, the first question he'd ask you, do you come here often?
You didn't, if you're going out with a guy or dating, you weren't encouraged to bring anybody home, only who you intended marrying.
Yeah.
You were the only ones that was welcome into your home as your boyfriend.
Yeah.
If you had intentions, that was the word, you know.
And we did. We all met our husbands quite young, didn't we?
Yeah.
I was 17.
Yeah.
So it's all right,
Yeah.
Just to end all, the last time when we were interviewing Josie, she gave us the Cinderella poem.
Oh,
Is that
that's
all
right.
right?
Josie.
No, they have Cinderella.
Yeah.
No, I'm trying to get
the
it.
Portuguese.
Oh yeah.
That's a great one.
I'll stand up and do that. That's a good one.
Yeah.
No, it's no one from Portugal, is it?
No.
Well, I mean, it's an old Dublin street song that Frank Hart wrote, isn't it?
Yes, yeah.
So it's all for the love of a very young maid who in Cabra did reside. Myself, I lived in Donnybrook. I was a 1 and a 5-penny ride. But there was a fly in the ointment now, as quickly you will see. For although I loved her terrible well, she was in love with a Portuguese. Now he was a nasty piece of work, Gonzales was his name, and he could not keep his hands off her, Concepta, who was me dame. So I made a vow be the Grand Canal, that I would do him in, 'cause I did not like them Portuguese, and in particular I didn't like him. So I followed him up be Grafton Street one evening just for fun, around be the Mercer Hospital and into the Bartley Duns. And there I spied him in a corner seat, a kissing and holding hands. And there he was seducing her with pints of baby sham. So I followed him back to his lodgings in Rathgar or there's about. And as he was walking down a lane, sure I battered him inside out. And he began to scream and yell till he was dead, I'm sure. So I lifted a lid off a manhole and I threw him down the sewer. When the moth she came to hear of this, she began to scream as well. So all for the sake of peace and quiet, sure I done her in as well. And now I'm up before the judge to answer for me crime. Says he, I didn't mind the first time, son, but not the second time. So it's all for the love of this fair maid and our Portuguese sailor boy. Oh, it's all for the love of this fair maid that I landed in Mountjoy. For if ever I get out of this, I'll change me ways, you'll see. For I'll marry a girl from the Liberties who wouldn't look at a Portuguese.